to Behind the Story with Naomi and Lisa, where we explore the why of the books you love. I'm Lisa Renee from the Collaborative Press, and I'm also a romance contemporary author of the Single Again series.
And I'm Naomi Craig, historical fiction author of Rahab's Courage.
Today's special guest is an award-winning contemporary romance author, Sara Beth Williams. She lives with her husband, two beautiful daughters, a lovable old pit bull, and a spunky and very shaggy Pomeranian. Her time is currently divided between working, raising her daughters, her doggies, and writing every spare minute that she can. She loves enjoying soaking up a wonderful rainstorm, and currently she works as a publicist at Anaiah Press. Sara, welcome to Behind the Story.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Our pleasure. Sara, now tell me, where are you from and how long have you lived there?
I am from Northern California in Sacramento, and I have lived here all my life, except for a portion in college where I lived a little bit down south. But I've been living in California all my life.
Great. So other than your own country, what is your favorite country that you would like to visit or that you've been to?
I'd love to go to Australia just to see you, Lisa. But in general, I love Spain. I've researched Spain. I've written a book about that's based in Spain, and I love the Spanish language, and I'm learning Spanish, so I'd love to visit there someday.
That's wonderful. Road trip, let's go. We'll go see Lisa first and then
Yeah.
Now, what is something fun about you that may or may not influence your writing?
I love music, and it's heavily influenced my more recent writing. In my third book that's coming out in March, I have a lead character who is a musician. And my fourth book, which I'm pitching to agents, has two characters that are musicians. One is the lead character, one is the character's sister. So music has always been really influential in my writing in general.
Awesome. Yeah. Naomi and I have had the privilege of reading some of your manuscripts and your stories, and yeah, we can see that coming through, and we just love it. We just love your writing. And yeah, I find also that listening to some music is quite inspirational, and like if you're doing a country theme or something, country music's great. So in your most recent book, A Worthy Heart, and that was a finalist in this year's Sealer Awards. Congratulations with that achievement, because that's huge. Tell us what sparked the story or your series.
Well, A Worthy Heart and the third book both kind of stemmed from writing my first book. So as I was writing my first book, When Hearts Collide, I kind of just developed the idea to do a series with these characters. As the more that I wrote about the six main characters, the more that I really wanted to tell the stories of the other characters. So I took Lacey's brother, and Lacey is the main character in When Hearts Collide, and I tried to figure out who to pair him with out of the characters that I had. And so then I took one of the other characters named Serena and paired them together, and then wrote out their stories, and it was a lot of fun. It was challenging, different from the way that When Hearts Collide started, but it was a lot of fun.
That's excellent. It sounds like you had a lot of fun and keeping in that community for your stories. Where are they set? Are they all set in California?
Yeah, all my books so far have been set in California, except for this young adult script that I have based in Spain. But all my contemporary romance books are based in California. I've had a really amazing family experience of traveling around California. I've been all over the mountains, the Sierra Nevada, and I've been to the coast. I've been down to Southern California, to Yosemite. So some of that plays into my books.
Awesome. Yeah, it was great to ask you some questions when I was visiting California in my book.
Yeah.
And you sent me some photos and helped me out there even. So what's your favorite part of the writing process, and what's your least favorite?
I think my favorite part of the writing process is free writing a new story. It's the most fun because it's the most motivating part of writing for me, to take all of these ideas that are like emotional, romantic, or action packed and write all those out within a storyline. And so that's the most fun for me. The most difficult part is going back and usually I can put them in chronological order, the scenes in chronological fairly easily, but it's filling in the gaps that gets really tedious. And I'm like, I have to connect these somehow. And then so that's probably the least favorite. Also, writing a synopsis is really hard, as most writers will tell you.
Well, we've seen the product of your slaving over these, so we greatly appreciate all the effort you put into your books for sure. How do you feel Christian fiction or nonfiction market has positively changed over the last 5 to 10 years? What do you see for it in its future?
Well, I've known that it's changed a lot in terms of content. A lot of it, I think, is moving towards more realistic characters and more realistic storylines, which I think is great. Authors are not so afraid to put in characters with messy pasts and difficult situations that they have to overcome, which I love. I think that's great. I would really love to see more diversity, more characters, diverse characters, more diverse authors. But in general, I think that that's what readers want. So I'm hoping that that will be what happens in the future.
Definitely. Yep, definitely. Things are changing and for the better, so it's great. And as far as you've done a bit of, well, obviously, even with traditional publishing, you still have to do your own marketing, or most authors are finding. So, what marketing strategy has worked best so far for you? Because we've got a lot of authors watching, following our behind the story, and they want to learn.
For me, I think a lot of research has shown that interacting and really getting to know your readers is the most important thing. And so I think I think that's really what draws people in. Because when they get to know you as a person and when they get to know you as like more deeper than just somebody who writes books, more about your family, your life, and your things that you love, things that you don't love, I think that really helps people. That's what I love about authors. When I was first before I was published and when I was first published, the authors that I really followed were the people that I was able to connect with, that took time to actually connect with me. If you don't take time to connect with your readers, then they're less likely to really care about what you're selling. So, and it's not necessarily the being online constantly. It's also just your voice and how you present yourself, just how you write your newsletters and how you write your posts in a more familiar, laid back conversational tone versus like very professional. And so I think that's really what I've found that works the best.
Hang on, let me jot all this down and write down on these good notes. Thank you so much for sharing. Tell us, what do you have coming up next?
So in March, I have a book releasing with Anaiah Press, which is the third book in my series, contemporary romance series, which is called Anchor My Heart, which I love. I love the title. I love everything about this book. And when I first wrote the series, I think that this one was definitely my favorite. I've really come to love A Worthy Heart, but the more I wrote Anchor My Heart, I just love the characters, and I can't wait for everybody to read all about these characters.
Awesome. And what other than writing and being a mum, what's your favorite hobbies and activities, and other than reading as well? because we know that you like to read.
Yeah, I really like music, as I said. I play guitar a little bit. I used to sing in choir way back when. And so those are music and writing and reading. Those are really, really important to me. I love spending time with my family. I'm a very community-oriented person. So spending time with family and friends is really a huge deal, just spending time with people. I'm an extrovert, which is interesting when you're talking to a lot of authors who are not. But I love hanging out with the people that are close to me.
That's awesome. What is the best writing advice that someone has ever shared with you, indirectly or directly?
When I was researching in the very beginning process of before I published, I had been working on another manuscript outside of the contemporary romance script. And one of the things I read was to just finish your first draft, just finish it, stop editing it, and just write it out completely, and then go back. And that was really what like motivated me to, and kind of like pushed me into gear to really start writing a lot more. Because if you get stuck on one manuscript forever and ever, you lose motivation, and you don't, you kind of have to trust yourself. Your first manuscript is going to be terrible because you have like a lot of ideas, and like you have to go back and refine it later. But if you don't finish it, then for me, my motivation was just like dead. So that was one of the biggest pieces of advice that I read, was just to finish your manuscript all the way through without going back constantly editing it.
Yeah, that's good advice. It's not easy to do. Naomi and I have been trying to do these 25 minutes of writing and timing how many she does pages because she handwrites, because she's historical fiction, biblical fiction, and I can do my word count. So it's been good to challenge ourselves, not compete, but compete against ourselves and see how much we can do. So yeah, but you do have to put things aside and not be a perfectionist with your first draft. That's great advice. Can you quickly go over your titles, Sarah, of the ones that are available and your new release, and where our viewers can get a hold of them?
Yeah, so I have 3 books out right now. When Hearts Collide and A Worthy Heart are available right now through Anaiah Press, and you can visit my website, which will be in the link in the bottom. And my 3rd book is coming out in March, and so you can. That is the 3rd book is Anchor My Heart. So you can subscribe to my newsletter to find out all the details, cover reveal, launch team, everything like that. So make sure you visit my website and subscribe to my newsletter to find out more about Anchor My Heart. And then I am everywhere. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a bunch of author sites like BookBub and Goodreads. So you can find me all over the place.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing with our viewers today.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
All of our viewers, be sure to check in the links and in the comments to connect with Sarah and all her books. If you have enjoyed learning about a new author, subscribe to our YouTube channels, Naomi Craig, Lisa Renee, and the Collaborative Press. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified of our next Behind the Story video.
Awesome. And Naomi and I have a gift for you. We have some novellas. I have the Act 1 of Polarized Love. And when you subscribe to my newsletter, and Naomi has something. What do you have, Naomi?
I also have, for my newsletter subscribers, my biblical fiction. It's called On Desolate Heights, and it is Balaam's story and his talking donkey.
Awesome, and it is a very cool story, so make sure you get that. Thank you for joining for this edition of Behind the Story, and next time we will have someone really exciting, a new author, Mandy Blake. So thank you again for joining us today on Behind the Story with Naomi and Lisa. Don't forget to click on the links and subscribe to our YouTube channels, and you'll keep up to date with our author interviews. Have a great week. God bless.